Well, hello, welcome again to our reading of selections from Herodotos, and in book 1 and up to chapter or section 35. So there's a printing bit there. So at this stage, Kroisos has had a bad dream in which his son was killed by an iron spear, and so to try and avoid that happening, he finds a wife for his son to keep him quiet and back at home rather than going out fighting, and he also gathers up all of the dangerous weapons in the house and has them moved either to a storeroom or the women's quarters. So in 35, ekontes de hoi en kersi tu paidos ton gamon, epikneetai es tassadis anes phore ekominos kaiu katharos kairas, eon frux men genea genios de tu basilei iu. So we get a genitive absolute here. So the subject here, we have to supply Kroisos. So Kroisos, having in the hands for him, this is this dative of the possessor again, the marriage of his son. So literally, Kroisos having in his hands the marriage of his son, that is, while he's busy organising his son's marriage, apikneetai, there arrives, well, the subject here is a Sardian, an ane, so a man arrives in historic present in Sardis, a man ekominos, literally being held down by disaster, so in great distress, kai u katharos, and not a man who is not katharos, pure or clean, kairas, in respect of his hands. Eon for own, participle from the verb to be, so being frux, a Phrygian genie by race, and by descent, by genes is a genitive here, so of the race of the Basileu, this is of the palace. So being part of the family of the royal palace. Parelthon de Herodotos est ta Kroisoikia katanomus tus epikureus kathasiu e deeto epikureisai kuros de min ekathere. And this man, having come into the houses of Kroisos, edeeto, he asked epikureisai, to meet with, from epikurio, so he asked to meet with, and it takes a genitive, kathasiu, purification, and then kata nomus tus epikureus, according to the native laws, the laws of the land, really, according to the native laws, the laws of the land. And Kroisos, this is from Kathairo, he purified him, he cleansed him. So this guy has in fact committed murder, and therefore he's been sent away from his native land, and he needs, because he's committed murder, he's therefore impure and he needs purification, and he goes to Kroisos, and Kroisos purifies him. Estidet paraplesiae he katharsis tois si ludois si kai tois helesi. Herodotus loves to compare various practices of other places with Greece, and he says here the katharsis, the cleansing, is paraplesiae, it's parallel to, so it's very similar for the Lydians and for the Greeks. So paraplesia, or something like resembling or similar. Details of the purification can be found in various commentaries and things. Epe te de ta nomizomena epoie si Kroisos epun thanato oikothen te kai tis ie legon tardi. And when Kroisos had done ta nomizomena, the things that were decreed by custom, so when he'd completed the customary things, epun thanato, he inquired, imperfect here, it's almost he began to inquire, hokothen, from whence, understand he was, kai tis aa, and who he was, optative, because he's asking a question in past sequence. So he asked him from whence he was and who he was. Legon tardi, saying the following things. Onthrope tis te eon kai kothen tes fugios herkon epistios moi egeneo. So onthrope is o anthrope, so Kroisos here. So o man, eon participle from the verb to be, being whom, so being who, I should say, kai kothen for pothen. You often get the kappa for pi in Ionic dialect. So who are you, and from whence of Phrygia, having come from where in Phrygia, you become, this is the second person uncontracted from aorist from ginomai, have you become an epistios, this would be ephistios in Attic, someone who comes to your hearth, I think, a suppliant, moi for me. So who are you, and from whence of Phrygia having come, have you made yourself my suppliant? Tina de andron e gunaikon e phonusa, so he knows he's killed someone, doesn't know who. So which of men or women have you murdered? Hode amebato, and he replied, O Basiliu gordio men tu midio ami pais, on amazdamai de Adrastos, phonusas de adelphion o utu ekon paraemi ex menos te hupetu patros kai este re menos panton. So he says, O king, I am the Pais, I am the son of Gordius, the son of Midas, and I am named Adrastos. Now this is a most unfortunate name, because there is a goddess of Nemesis, which we saw mentioned in the previous chapter, whose name is Adrastia. The Midas here is not the same guy who was the famous one with all the money. This is a different one. The name Adrastos, however, to a Greek ear, is alpha privative plus this dre root is the verb from the verb of running away. So one who cannot run away from his fate is the intended meaning in this story that Herodotos is presenting, but we get this interesting pun here. He is a man who's not able to escape his fate, which is not going to be a good one. So I am named Adrastos, phonusas, but having killed my adelphion, this is just like adelphon, it's uncontracted. Well, it's another version of adelphos, which doesn't contract normally. So I've killed my brother, m e autu for m autu. This is just an Ionic form for that. So my own brother, a ekon, you get akon in Attic contracted, it's unwilling, against my will, so I didn't do it intentionally. So parami, I am present. So I am present, having killed my own brother unwillingly, or by accident. This is from ex elauno. This is the perfect passive participle from ex elauno. If you look this one up, it's quite an irregular verb, the elailemenos here, from elauno. So having been driven out, then we get a tet and chi. So both having been driven out by my father, and having been deprived, another perfect passive participle, have from stereo, having been deprived of all things, of everything. So he kicked me out and took all my possessions because I killed my brother. Kroisos de min emebeto toi side. Croesus replied to him with the following things, with the following words. Andron tephilon tonkanes ekgonos ion kai eleluthes es philus. Entha emekaneses krematos udinos menon en he meteru. You chance being engenos, ekgenos I think is related to men who are dear. Presumably he is some relation of Croesus. So you chance being engenos, related to men who are kind, perhaps, for philon, or men who are friends, and you have come, perfect from Elalitha, perfect from Merkamai, you have come among friends. Where, now, ame kaneo is a verb meaning something like to be in despair, to be not knowing what to do. So here it's sort of you will. So where you will lack, and it's taking a genitive, nothing of money. So where you will lack no money, menon remaining en he meteru. Now en of course doesn't take the genitive. You've got to supply oikia, in our house. So remaining in our house, you will be in need of no money. You will lack no money. Sum forain de tauten hos ku fotata feron kuda nees pleston. Now this is slightly tricky here, I think. This disaster. Oh, I see, yes. So bearing this disaster as in the way that is most light. This is a superlative here from Kufos. Kerdines, you will gain the most. So it's a rather cryptic little line here. So he's saying that if you don't take all this terrible thing that's happened too seriously, then you'll be better off. So you'll be better off if you don't take all this too seriously. But literally is bearing this disaster. This is hos plus the superlative, as gently as possible, as lightly as possible. You will gain the most. So you'll gain a better life or something for this, to paraphrase it. You will gain the most. So perhaps you'll be much better off if you bear this disaster as lightly as possible. That's the end of chapter 35.